going into Matthew, I learned something very interesting. So the cool thing that I have realized, and I'm super excited to share this with you guys, I believe it's in, starting in Matthew 3, chapter 14. He's talking about John the Baptist and him, and when Jesus came to him and said that he wanted to be baptized. He didn't say he wanted to be baptized. He basically told John the Baptist, baptize me. To which John the Baptist was like, wait, I'm not worthy of doing that. And Jesus basically told him, just do it. Just do it. We're doing this for a reason. So of course we all know this story where he gets baptized and the sky opens up and a dove flew out over them. So it says right here, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And a voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am very well pleased. Now, following into the next chapter, chapter 4, starting in the very first, going into the first into the second verse. So literally right after he was baptized, he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. We already know the story where he was tempted by Satan and this and that. Well, again, like I've mentioned, I've read this story so many times. I've heard it since I was a kid. But it's made me really look at this whole perspective so different. He went into the mountains and he fasted right after his baptism. He was baptized, he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And of course he was hungry. And it states right here in the very beginning, he was tempted by the tempter. And it says, this one's the very interesting part. And I think this is really cool. So Satan came to him in three different ways. And I guarantee you, he will come at you in the same way. If you can distinguish it, you can see it, you can call it out. That's exactly what Jesus did, and that's how he countered him every single time. It says right here, the tempter comes to Jesus and is telling him, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made of bread. So for one, he came after his flesh, trying to tempt the flesh with food. He also questioned his identity, and that was a way to basically jab at his ego, which Jesus did not have. The second one proves that he did not have that Jesus did not have an ego. Okay, so going into it, Jesus said to Satan, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out the mouth of God. That was exactly how he confronted Satan, by telling him the truth, which is written here. So Satan tries again, and it says the devil takes him up to the holy city and sets him upon a pinnacle of the temple. And he said to him, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down. For it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. So in this one, he's trying to go against the ego that I mentioned earlier. This goes against what, who Jesus was, what he represented. He mentioned, if thou be the Son of God. He said it the first time, he said it the second time. Again, he's trying to pick at the ego that Jesus so clearly does not have. And he was trying to feed into whatever self-righteousness flesh tends to have, which Jesus himself confronted him and said, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God, which he strictly said, which is the truth. Satan didn't like that, so Satan tried it one more time. So the devil took him back up into an exceeding high mountain and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And then he said, all of these things I will give thee if thou will fall down and worship me. This was a false promise, which we always get tempted. We get tempted by this. We get false promises, or we are tempted with false treasures or false hope. Jesus confronted him with this. My favorite one that I love about this. Jesus confronted him and said, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written that thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only. That. So in three different ways, Satan confronted Jesus when he was weakened and he was fasting. And when we fast, I'm still learning the concept of fasting myself, but when we fast, that is our way of not only welcoming the Spirit to live and dwell within us, but it's a way for us to connect and hear God, not just a physical hearing, but it's a feeling that you can feel. So Satan was here, and when you are in that state, Satan will try to basically pull you away from that. So he came at Jesus three different ways. One, he questioned his flesh and tempted him with food, trying to tempt him with his ego and try to say, well, if you are the Son of God, you should be able to do this. Jesus shot him down, then turned around, and Satan offered again. He tried to feed into the self-righteousness by the title of Jesus Christ, of which did not work. Again, Satan will try to feed into your self-righteousness or any kind of ego that you might be having, any level of pride, anything like that. He will try to feed into that. Your best way is to give it to God and say that you are not what your mind wants to tell you are. You need to humble yourself. That's why Jesus said to be humble in all your ways. So the third time that he came to Jesus, This is a last resort kind of deal. He can't get him. He's trying anything and everything, so he's using the pleasures of the world to try to strap him in and take advantage of him. Jesus knows this. He sees the problem and he's not falling for it. So he tried to tempt him with false promises, tempting with fake treasures. So the crazy part is, Jesus knew what he was trying to do, saw it, called him out 3 different times. And if you have read the Bible, it has said that the way that Satan will leave you alone is by doing the exact same thing that this book represents. Jesus did these exact things. He really did. And what's cool is, shortly after that, the devil left him, and angels came to minister unto him, which means they came to take care of him, to make sure that he was okay. So when you are being put in a situation where you're being tempted and tried, and you feel like you are constantly under temptations, you have anger or whatever it is that's going on within you, that is the devil quite literally poking and prodding at your sore spots. And he's trying to get a reaction. He's trying to get you to go his way instead of going the way God calls for you. So now that we've gone over those 3 main points of what Satan did to Jesus, I want you to sit here and I want you to dwell on it. Think about it. And I encourage you, go and read this. This was what was really interesting. And I was mind blown. Because if you really put it together and you grasp it and put it all together, what he did to Jesus is literally what he does to this day. It's what he does to each and every one of us. We need to remember to be like Jesus. There's a reason why Jesus was the example, which is why he told John the Baptist, "Suffer it to be so now, for thus it cometh us to fulfill all righteousness." Basically, he told John the Baptist, baptize me because this is why it needs to be done. It says we need to fulfill it, so it needs to be fulfilled. Anyways, may you all have a blessed day or night.